Good morning, everyone. Today's webinar presenter is Ngan. Ngan is the CEO and founder of Chintanami Group, a consulting and training company in Boston. For over 15 years, Ngan has been dedicated to the study and understanding of self-leadership, business organizations, and universal principles of success. Drawing on her background as a strategy advisor for Fortune 100 companies and at McKinsey & Company, she now serves as an executive coach and speaker, helping professionals and entrepreneurs achieve greater success and full spectrum results. The webinar will introduce the gifts you already possess to achieve your goals and dreams with greater ease. The presentation will help you create faster results in your career without compromise and find new solutions to overcome old problems. The webinar is live and is being recorded. The recorded version will be available on the MER website in a few days. There will be a Q&A at the end of the webinar. Feel free to type any questions into the question box at the bottom of your webinar screen during the presentation or during the Q&A later. Thank you, and now over to our presenter.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that introduction. And hi, everyone. My name is Ngan, and as Sarah said, I work as a success and vision coach, and I help entrepreneurs and professionals create the greatest vision for their life, one the full spectrum success, and be able to bring it forward with greater ease through a proven system that's actually based on more than 40 years of study of the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders of our time and how they've been able to bring forward the desires that they have in their heart into the landscape of their reality, which I'm going to be sharing more with you during this webinar. And we'll go for about an hour, and you've made a really great decision to be here today. It is my intention that you leave here knowing the three tools that can help you achieve your goals and dreams much faster than you had imagined. You'll have much greater clarity on what those goals and dreams that you would love and the success that you would love to have and impact that you want to create in the world, and that you actually feel much more confident in the power that lives within you in order to achieve them. And so make sure that you have a pen and paper ready, because there will be lots of information I'm going to be sharing with you, and also a portion of the webinar where I'm going to ask you to write down something for about a minute. So make sure you grab your pen and paper. And to get us started, I actually want to share with you a story. So there was a mother mouse leading her 3 children through a house when all of a sudden, as they come around the corner, they see a tomcat. Now the cat looks at the mice and starts thinking, dinner, and starts slowly walking towards the mice, revealing its sharp teeth. Now the mother mouse, in an effort to protect her children, backs up on her hind legs, and in as loud of a voice as she can muster, ruff, ruff, ruff. The cat gets startled and runs off. Now then the mother mouse, now this is a teaching moment, right? So the mother mouse turns to her little babies and says, now children, I want you to always remember this moment and never underestimate the power of learning more than one language. I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a joke to get us started, but there is a language of success that we are going to be looking at today. There's a language to creating the results that you want. And once we consciously understand what this language is, we can apply it to any area of our life that we want to improve. And I want to actually launch a poll here. It just asks you, how many people here have some goal that you'll love to achieve, or some area of life that you'll just love to improve here? So let me launch the first poll. Okay, and let's see here. It's a yes or no, so please vote here. Yes, okay, I'm seeing majority of people are voting. Over half of people have voted, all yes so far. Awesome, so you are in the right place. And so let's keep that going. Let's give everyone a chance to vote here. And then I have a second question to ask you. All right, yes, lots of yeses. Awesome. Okay, I have a second question to ask you then, following up on that. How many people here have ever achieved a goal or dream in your life that when you first started out with that goal or dream, you really had no idea how you were going to achieve it? Okay, answers are coming in. So we're at 30% voted yes, 40, 50% people, 60% people, 70, 80% people voted yes. Majority, okay, almost all you're voting now, yes. And A small percentage of people said no. Okay, so the answers I'm getting is about 96% people said yes, and a small percentage said no. And that's a majority, right? And that really what it proves though is that majority of you, and maybe for those who maybe said no, think about it. There may be times when you first came up with the idea and it was like, oh, this is a crazy idea and I have no idea. But then as you took steps forward, things started unfolding. But what that really proves, for everyone that has said yes, is that proves that we are all really a lot more capable than we know. And what I have learned during the many opportunities I have had speaking to different groups and organizations is that oftentimes our goals and dreams are born out of the challenges we are facing or the pain that we are currently experiencing. And this is not a poll question, but I just want you to just reflect on this question. It's like, how many of you here have a challenge that you're currently experiencing or some area of life that's really causing you pain? Perhaps it's in your career, or in the relationships, perhaps in your health, or the amount of money you have, or the lack of free time. And when I ask that question in a live event, oftentimes it's everyone, all of us are really experiencing some challenge, right, that we would like to overcome. And also following up on that is that just ask yourself, would you love to have that problem resolved? And what I find is that the answer, of course, for all of us is that typically it's yes, we would love to have all those challenges that we are currently experiencing resolved. And you see, we actually live in a universe that speaks to us through two growth signals. Let me see here. I'm going to make sure the slides are catching up. Two growth signals. And the growth signals that it speaks to us through our longings and our discontents. It's the feeling of longing for something we haven't yet created and the feeling of discontentment with current circumstances that sparks us to grow. And oftentimes we are pushed by pain until we are pulled by vision. It's these two energies, right? The pain of your problem and the burning desire for what you haven't yet created are actually essential for creating new results. So it's actually a good thing to feel that discontent and that longing for our challenges to be resolved. And I just want to share with you a time in my life when pain pushed me to change and how I actually came to this study. It was Christmas morning after my 16th birthday, and Portland, Oregon had been hit with one of the biggest snowstorms in over 5 years. I was living in a small studio at the time, which was a miracle because just a few months prior, I was actually homeless, having ran away from home to avoid a really challenging family life and situation. And I was working the mall during the day and at Walgreens in the evenings to pay for an apartment and barely getting by. I remember feeling fortunate if I even have $75 left over at the end of every month. I really saw no future for myself. I was working 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. every day, no money, no education because I had dropped out of high school, and I was really feeling very trapped in that situation. And I tried to be strong, but I remember when I woke up Christmas morning, I was by myself because I wasn't in contact with my family, and the heater that they broke, and the landlord couldn't send someone because of the storm, and so the house was just icy cold. And the cold made the feelings of hopelessness and loneliness just so much more acute. And all the feelings I was holding at bay came flooding in, and the floodgates just opened. I was in complete despair, but in that despair, there was letting go, and in that sadness, something shifted in me. And that next morning, when I woke up, something changed. I felt this strong desire for more that I wanted to, and I think that feeling was always there, but I'd never allowed myself to feel it. And that day, I allowed myself to truly feel that I deeply wanted a life of more meaning and purpose and success and impact. And I connected with the deep longing that I've always wanted to go get higher education, something that I always wanted for myself. And I wanted to go to college at the time. That was my big longing. And I didn't know how. I had dropped out, but I made a powerful decision that I was going to do whatever it took. And I took the steps that I could at the time. I started looking up college requirements and got myself into night school. And then, over the next 6 months, earned my high school diploma through evening school and then got applied to Lynn Community College. and then later transferred into Oregon State University. When I graduated from my undergraduate, I joined a startup, which later took me down a rewarding and exciting career as I was working on my MBA into a career in management consulting, later working with business leaders of Fortune 100 companies and at McKinsey and Company to really help people achieve greater success in the vision that they have. And experiencing the ability to create what I wanted, what I deeply desired when I started out with almost nothing, really gave me an appreciation and reverence for the human spirit. It sparked in me the curiosity of how results are created, and that we actually have the ability within us to create any results that we want, regardless of what current circumstances look like. And the knowledge that I started studying self-leadership, philosophy, spirituality, theology, the quantum physics, psychology, to really understand our world and the laws that govern our results in order to understand what happened. And the knowledge that I gained brought more awareness. And as I was consulting with business leaders on achieving success, I started realizing that authentic success, true success that requires more than just vocational success. It actually requires success in all domains of life in order for you to really reach your greatest potential, and truly bring forward, the fulfillment and joy, and also the impact that we all feel that we may feel called to create. And it was during this time that I came across the Life Mastery Institute through my study and inquiry. And when I heard what they were about, I knew that this was it. Like, these were the principles that I had been applying in my life, and I immediately enrolled and deepened the knowledge that I had learned about the laws of success, and was shown how to apply these principles through a beautiful, elegant, reliable, and repeatable system to turn your dream and goals and visions into reality, called the Life Mastery System. Now, Life Mastery is based on more than 40 years of study centered on researching the most successful people on the planet and how they use 10 success principles to turn the desires they had in their heart into the landscape of their reality. And I've had some successes in applying some of these principles in the past, but with the Life Mastery Institute and the Life Mastery System, I achieved results beyond what I could have imagined. And I'm now literally living the life I've always wanted, of purpose and fulfillment, supporting people in achieving greater heights and extraordinary results in their life in order for them to really experience the impact, influence, and success that they desire. And you see, we live in a spiral universe that calls us to greater expansion through our ideas, our visions, and our dreams. And as each one of us steps forward to live those dreams, our life gets better. Those around us benefit from it, our friends and family. And also, the world moves forward in a positive direction. And so doing this work is really my way of being of service to you and in our world. Now, in the Life Mastery System, there are 10 principles that will absolutely skyrocket your success and results if you apply them to your life. And today, I'm grateful to give you 3 of those principles that you can apply right now in order to create the results that you would absolutely love. And I'll give you as much as I can the next about 40 minutes or so we have together. And my promise to you is I'm going to give you everything I can, all the information, so make sure you have your pens and paper ready. And at the end of this presentation, many of you have seen the power of this, and want to take this information further and integrate it into your life. So for you, I actually have a special gift that you are going to love that I will give you at the end of this presentation. So make sure that, and I'm going to give you a web address at the end of this presentation to type in. So make sure that you also have your browser ready to type that in when I give you this address, okay? That's my promise to you. So as we think about the pattern in the language of success, so every single person here right now has the ability to say, walk by your door and flip a light switch, right, and be able to turn on the light, that you have electricity wired through your house. Now, there was a time in our history, right, that we did not have electricity. That did not mean that electricity wasn't there. It's just that until Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, we did not, as a society, had awareness of the law of electricity, that it was always there. Thomas Edison did not invent electricity. He simply expanded his awareness as far as how to tap into that energy and that source in order to bring forward a new system of illumination. If we go to the Smithsonian today and we look at the journal of Thomas Edison, and that's actually there, you will actually see, before he ever invented the light bulb, you will actually see that he wrote in his journal a vision. He wrote in his vision was that I will deliver to the world a system of illumination that will free the world from oil lamp, that will make us not depend on oil lamp. And at the time, he actually had absolutely no idea how he was going to do it, but he wrote down the vision, and he actually had knowledge of a system of success that allowed him to transform that vision that he had into reality in his invention of the light bulb that now actually did indeed fulfill his vision of being able to free the world, and we all have electricity and no more oil lamps, right? And so that's really what we're talking about today, is like, how do we expand our awareness of the pattern to create the results that you want, and the language and the pattern of success, and that every single one of us here can actually improve the results that we're getting in our life as we expand our awareness of the pattern of how to create those results. And that could be, in your career, the amount of money you have, the level of success you want in your business, the number of clientele, the how expansive you want your business to be. Is it national? Is it statewide, national, international, whatever it is, or in your relationships, or the vacations or time and freedom you have, the depth of relationship with your family, whatever results that we truly desire, that we call our vision, we can actually access this level and pattern of success in order to bring that about. And so let's learn to expand our awareness for success in areas of life that really matter to you. Just like, let's see here. So I want to share with you here. So there's actually 4 major domains in which we all experience our results. We experience it in our health and well-being, our relationships, our vocation, and our time and money freedom. Now, every single one of us here have results in each of these areas of our life. And the results that you're getting in your life in these areas are a perfect reflection of your awareness in these areas. So let's expand our awareness together by studying the pattern that creates our results, or what I call the results formula. And the formula goes something like this. Our thoughts cause our feelings. Right? And your thoughts cause your feelings. And you know this. When you think joyful thoughts, you feel happy. When you think scary thoughts, your heart beats faster. When you think about, all the things you have left to do, how there's no time to do them, you feel stressed and overwhelmed. And when you think about, your recent success, or what you've accomplished, what you're capable of, you feel more confident. Your thoughts affect your physiology. And your feelings cause your actions. By law, your feelings must be expressed into actions. If you put on you put on body expression of someone who's depressed, right? We all, your shoulders drop down, your head automatically drops down, your face is expressionless or frowning. And if you put on a body expression of someone, say, who's confident, who's happy, you just had a major success, a major win, you close a major deal, then you're just feeling uplifted, your shoulders are up and you're happy. In addition to that, your thoughts actually have energy to them, and they actually circulate through the fluids of your body, permeate through your spinal cord out to every cell of your being, and that impacts your entire being and body. And also, the new quantum science is showing that the vibration in your cells are actually impacting the environment around you as well, because all around us is not actually empty space. It's actually energy all around us, so that it actually, your thoughts are impacting your feelings that permeate out all around you into this energy field that's around you. And so that actually triggers, and that is translated into actions. And the actions are actually what causes the results, right? So your thoughts cause your feelings cause your actions, and your actions cause your results. This is the law of cause and effect. Yet most people don't get this. Most people look at their results. They look at their circumstances, their conditions, and they call them their causes. Actually, they're too smart to call them their causes, because they actually call them their B causes. It's like, I can't generate more income because of the economy, because of the market, because of the competition, or, I can't start a new career because I will lose my benefits. I can't take time off because I don't have the money, or I can't, find the love of my life because I'm not young enough, or thin enough, or attractive enough, or because, where the true cause of all our results is actually right in our mind. It's actually in our thinking. Your results are actually caused by what you've been thinking. This is actually the first cause. So if you want to know what you've been thinking, you want to look at your results, because your results actually never lie. And so if we want to actually create new results in our life, then we must actually begin to look at our thinking, where our thinking comes from, and how our mind create a thought. And I'm blessed to speak to many different groups and organizations at live events in these webinars. And oftentimes someone after the presentation will write to me, find me, and say that they lead another group organization, ask if they can hire me to come to present, which I'm always happy to do. And whenever I go to that group organization, one of the videos I really love showing is this one here. Let's see. Let me show the video to you and just follow the on-screen instructions.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
Okay. I don't have a poll question for this, but what I find, how many passes you got, and also if you saw the moonwalking bear the first time. What I find is that if you have not seen this video before, then most people, majority of people, do not see that moonwalking bear the first time around, right? And that there's actually a surprise when that's pointed out, and then most people see it the second time. There's some that takes a second or third time to see it, but majority of people will not see it the first time and see it when actually it's called out. And the reason for this, the reason being, is that there's actually an area in our brains called the reticular activating system, whose job is to actually mediate our overall level of consciousness or awareness. In other words, the reticular activating system's job is to bring into our awareness what is it that we are looking for and filter out of our awareness what is it that we are not looking for. What we are paying attention to, we will see. Seek and ye shall find. Now, most of us, we're taught to focus our thoughts on what's reasonable, what's safe, why we can't, what's missing, what problems we might face, why it won't work. And if we want to change our results, we must first start by changing our focus. And highly successful people do this. They begin with the end in mind. They actually know their outcome. They become clear on what is it that they really want. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. You begin to see resources and opportunities that other people miss. And this actually brings us to the first success principle, which is designing a vision. So the question for you is, what is it that you want? What would you love to create for your life? What is the success and the impact that you would absolutely create for your life? And I want you to actually, if you grab a pen and paper, and you have that in front of you, I want you to actually write this down, is that clarity is power. Without a clearly defined blueprint, you cannot build a vision. You cannot build your best life. It's very much, it's just like you have to have a clear blueprint if you build a house. The same is really true for your dream. That you cannot go to the best builder in town and say, build me a house I would love. He or she would not know what to build you. You have to be very specific. You have to say, how many bedrooms that I want, how many bathrooms, how big is the house, what is the style, how many floors, what does it look like, what is that house that I would absolutely love. And the same is true for your dream. Because when you become clear on what is it that you really want in life, you begin to see opportunities, circumstances, resources that you would actually otherwise miss. And so let's design the blueprint for your dream and let's make it crystal clear. So consider the 4 domains in your life: your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation, and your time and money freedom. For the purpose of today, I actually want to invite you to focus on the area of vocation as we talk about your career and the success and the impact that you would love to create. But if you actually feel like the biggest domain for you that's causing you the most discontent, yet the most longing, is one of the other ones, and of course, feel free to apply this to the other domain. The examples I'm going to be using will just be focused on vocation. And also, you can actually apply this exercise to the other domains later after this webinar as well. Because the key here is that these are all connected, right? Like you actually need your health and well-being in order to be successful in your vocation, or you need, if we have rich, thriving relationships, that just makes us better and happier in our health, and time, money, freedom, right? You want that. Even if you have all the success in your career, you definitely want the freedom and the time to enjoy it, travel, spend time with your loved ones. So this is actually all connected. And the great thing about writing a vision is that you actually have the ability to write a vision in every single one of these domains and hold that vision so that it's actually holistic success, and you don't actually have to choose between one or the other. It's just for the purpose of today, given the time, I want to guide you through an exercise to write a vision for just one of the domains, and then you can repeat this for the other ones as well. And so in the area of vocation, I actually want you to focus on giving yourself permission to imagine, like you did. Use your mental faculty of imagination that we all have, although most of us, have not been, when we were kids, we had a free imagination. We would dream big, nothing's impossible. You could put on multiple futures. When you were 3 or 4 years old, imagine being a fireman or an astronaut or ballerina or doctor, or really anything you wanted. And in our culture over time, we've actually really been conditioned to not use our imagination as much, to not dream so big. And we now actually use this powerful mental faculty of imagination to really terrorize ourselves, right? Like when the loved ones is coming home late, we're putting on all these different potential futures of all the things that could go wrong, rather than using our imagination and our will, our mental faculty of will, to really will ourselves into thinking the positive things, all the ways that it could work out. And so I want to invite you to use your imagination and unlock your imagination with this simple question: what would you love? Ask yourself, what would I love to create in this area, in my vocation? And you receive different answers inside yourself when you ask, what would I love, compared to, what do I think I can do? What does the economy say I can do? What does my current situation say I can do? What do other people think I should do? You want to actually be able to source this from within, of being able to define what success you would love to create from within yourself, and in this domain of your life. And so just for a moment, just really lean into that question, what would I love for this area of my life? And I'm going to take you through a process called the time machine. And right now, imagine you're getting into a time machine and traveling 3 years into the future. And it is now February 2022, and everything you wanted completely worked out. And I want to take your pen and sheet of paper and write, I'm so happy and grateful now that. And in a moment, I'm going to just quickly give you 1 minute to write down what you would love to in this domain of your life, that I'm so happy and grateful now that. And I want you to actually suspend any need at all to know how this result is going to happen. Is simply what you would love, as if someone gave you a magic wand and you could just create exactly what you wanted. So you want to really dream big here, and just write that. And I want you to actually write this in present tense. So imagine this 3 years from today, February 2022, and everything worked out and all the challenges are solved. Consider what you would love for this area of your life. What's the success that you want? What's your income? What's your reach? How many clients do you have? What's the impact that you are creating? Who are you interacting with? What's your day like? What does it feel like when you wake up to go to work? What is that success that would just really light you up? And suspend any need to know how. And I want you to write it actually in present tense, that I'm so happy and grateful now that. And as vivid as you can, right, about how it feels. And I'll give you a minute, and then I'll chime back in again. So go ahead and start writing now. Okay, give 10 seconds. And you're not going to necessarily be done here. Writing a vision, actually, I find that when I do this in a live event, a good 3 minutes, even 5 minutes, as people unlock their imagination, they're able to source that and write a lot more. And so I just gave you the instructions and a glimpse of it. And this is going to be recorded, so you can watch it again and pause it and give yourself more time to write in the other domains. Finished writing this, and then in the other domains as well. But this is really the beginning, right, of designing and defining your own success and what you would love to create. And I know that you actually not have know how this vision is going to happen, and that's actually by definition, it's something beyond what you've created, and that's actually okay because this is the first step. And great leaders and successful people are actually willing to suspend the need to know how at the beginning of the process, and we will get to that. Now that you actually have a clearly defined dream and blueprint and vision that you want to create, I actually want to move on to principle number 2. The best-selling author and renowned life coach Bob Proctor says this: there's a single mental move which you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter, and it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. It is called decision. You must make a firm decision for what is it that you say you want before you will bring it to reality. Now, Napoleon Hill, author of the book Think and Grow Rich, after studying 25,000 men and women, concluded that highly successful people form the habit of making decisions quickly and changing them seldom, if ever, while unsuccessful people made decisions slowly and changed them frequently. It's the decisions we are willing to make that shape our lives. Now, there's a story of a man who goes to the bank to cash a check. Now, he goes up to the teller and he asks the teller, can you cash this check? And the teller looks at the check and says, yes, I can cash this check. Just sign your name on the back of it and I'll give you the money. And the guy says, well, wait a minute. I don't want to sign my name on the back of the check and hand it to you. You'll be holding my name with my check with my name on it, and you might decide not to give me the money. So the banker says, well, sir, you have to sign your name on the back of the check before I can give you the money. It's banking policy. And the man says, well, I just feel uncomfortable with signing my name on the back of the check, and then you're holding it, and you might not give me the money. And the banker says, no, I assure you, I will give you the money if you sign your name on the back of the check. And he says, well, I just don't feel comfortable. Could you please give me just this one time, just give me the money, and I promise you that I will sign my name on the back of the check. And they go back and forth. And finally, the young teller says, I can't help you. You're going to have to leave. So the man goes to the next bank. He goes through the same routine. Again, he's refused service. He goes to the third bank. He's having the same conversation with another young teller, explaining how he's uncomfortable. He doesn't want to sign his name on the back of the check. He's being told that the banking policy is that he has to sign his name on the back of the check. Finally, this young teller just had it with this guy. He reaches under the counter, pulls out a rubber baseball bat, reaches across the counter, and whacks the guy in the head and says, sign the darn check. So the man gets startled. He signs the check and hands it over, and he gets his money. Then with money in hand, the man goes back to the first bank. He goes to that first teller and says, hey, look down the street. I got my money. And the teller says, yeah, but I bet even down the street, you had to sign your name on that check first. And the guy says, well, yeah, I did. But you see, no one ever explained it to me the way they did. And I really love that story because I believe that on many levels, it's my story and it's your story, that we go to the teller of life. We go to our imagination. We go to our dreams and our goals for our business, and we say, I really want my business to be like this. I want my income to be like this. I want my relationships to be like this. I want my health to be like this, and we describe it. Then life says to us, great, well then go ahead and sign your name to it first. You become the thing you say you want, and I will cash that check for you. And we back up and we say, no, 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 give me the resources first. In other words, when the economy is good, when I have enough business, when I have the money, when I have the time, when I have the relationship, when I've got the confidence, in other words, when things change around me first, then I will sign my name to it. Then I will commit to the thing I say I want. We must be willing to sign our name to the thing we want and take action in the absence of knowing all the steps if we want to have our vision and the success that we've written down. No new process can begin and no new path can be forged until a decision has been made. But once you make a firm decision, even in the absence of perfect conditions, a whole manner of things begin to occur and rush to your aid for the fulfillment of that decision, because it actually shifts the way that you're looking at the situation, shifts your mindset. And I actually want to share with you a true story just to demonstrate, the power of looking at the situation differently and how that can actually bring forward new results and the power of mindset. This is actually a true story. In the mid 1970s, in the Midwest, in the U.S., there's a third generation barber and his son, his son was actually off doing some graduate work and hasn't been home in over a year. And they were living in this farming community. And this is a farm community where families come into town on the weekend to shop, and the kids get their haircuts, and the mom and dad do their shopping, and maybe they also get their haircut as well. So this third generation barber shop has become a community staple. It's a place where families come, and they got male and female hairstylists, and this is maybe in the mid or late 70s. They got that coffee bar and the donut shop, and it's really a gathering place for people to come together on the weekends when they come into town. So the son goes off to graduate school, and he's been gone for over a year, and he intermittently checks in. But then he comes home on spring break and finds his father very distant, very quiet, and even like very depressed. As the few days that the son was home coming to an end, he finally gets to his dad. He sits him down and says, "Talk to me, what's going on?" And his dad says, "We're going bankrupt. I don't know what to do. And the third generation is going to, and I need to close, it's going to close under my leadership." And the son says, "Well, what's happening?" And this is a time where the low-cost cutting salons were actually moving across America. And one of those establishments have actually recently moved into town and was offering $6 haircuts. And the father explained, there's no way I can compete with $6 haircuts. I can't pay the overhead. I've run numbers every way I can. I've gone through all the reserves, and we have maybe enough to survive another 30 days. But at this rate, it's over. I didn't want to alarm you, but I don't know what we're going to do. And the son said, there has to be an answer to this. Definitionally, there cannot be a problem without an answer. We may just not know the answer. And the son had been studying Napoleon Hill. He's been studying masterminding. He's been studying all kinds of things and the success principles about how you make yourself think in a different way. So in explaining masterminding or thinking beyond the problem, he said to his dad, "Look, let's just try this out with me, okay? Let's sit down and we'll write down every idea that comes to mind about how this problem could get solved, how you could stay in business, how you could thrive." And his father says, "There's no way. I've run the numbers. I can't compete against $6 haircuts." But the son responded, "Just do the exercise with me. Just one idea. Just give me one idea." And the father says, "Close the shop." So he writes it down, "Close the shop." That's an idea about how to solve the problem, right? It's an idea, isn't it? So he said, "That's one idea. Now let's look at some other ideas." Then the son says, "Advertise." And the dad's thinking, "I did advertise." But he's already been given the paradigm in masterminding, which is no editing. So once you edit, you shut down the stream of ideas. So it's like putting a clamp on the stream to the universal intelligence. So no matter what the idea is, you write it down. So they're writing ideas after idea, and they're off getting into like a rhythm. And they do this for about 20 minutes. And one of those ideas just jumps off the page. They execute the idea. The son goes back to school. A few weeks later, he calls his dad. He can tell his dad's voice. The energy is strong. He says, "Things are better." He asks his dad, and his dad's like, "It sure is. Not only did our normal clientele return, we are 11% higher than the highest census they've ever had in the shop." And do you know what the idea was? It was to put a big sign on top of the shop that said, "We fix $6 haircuts." And that just really illustrates the power of really coming up with solutions and seeing it from a different angle. And when you ask the right questions, you actually, by definition, will always receive an answer. And so for your dreams, in making a decision in order to really know and trust that there is an answer to bring you forward, what is it that you're trying to create for your vision? And if you want to cash a check, you need to fill out the amount, and you need to sign your name on that check. right? And like just like in the story, the man and his son acting to face some very real circumstances, made some powerful decisions to take action. And in terms of your vision, it means that you have to be specific and clear about what you want. Then putting your name on that check means making a decision for your dream by saying, yes, this is the vision I want to create. This is a life I absolutely love. Yes, today is my day. So now that you have a blueprint, you've decided for your vision, I want to actually talk about the third principle, which involves overcoming what stops most people from bringing their dream right into their reality, which is fear. And that's why mastery principle number 3 is actually befriending your fear. The value of your decisions depends upon the courage you have to make them. Great dream building, and vision creating requires the ability to suspend the need to know how and taking action in absence of all the answers. When we decide for a vision, that there's a part of us, that says, yes, there's this, I would love this, this is it, and this is the career I want, this is the business I want, this is going to be wonderful. And then there's another part of us that says, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. Or that part might says, well, how are you going to do that? You've never done that before. Who do you think you are? Look at the economy, look at the competition. You don't have what it takes. How many people here, and I don't have a poll question for this, but I just want to see you reflect on this. How many people here have ever heard from that part of themselves? And maybe some of you have even heard from that part of yourself during this presentation alone. And what is that? What is that voice? That is actually the voice of fear. It's actually the part of you that wants to stay status quo. And oftentimes, when we are not right at fear is actually the voice of the reality that we know. It's actually the energy of our comfort zone. And oftentimes, fear will actually disguise itself as practicality, because fear won't say, I'm here to kill your vision and your dreams for your life. It's actually too smart for that. It will say, I'm here to keep you safe. I'm here to make sure you never have to experience that level of pain again. I'm here to make sure your kids are taken care of. I'm here to make sure you don't get embarrassed. It's the voice that says, now is not a good time, wait until later. It's the voice that says, you don't have the money for that. That's irresponsible. It's the voice that says, you don't have the experience or the credentials. Who are you to have that vision and that level of success? It's the part of you that asks, what if you fail? So I want to ask you, what if you fail? How many people here have had a failure? Because reality is that we all have, right? That when we were babies, we all started as non-walkers. And as non-walker, you saw people walking around you on their hind legs, and you wanted that level of success for freedom for yourself. You wanted to be upright and to not be floor bound. So you rose up and you locked your eye on that toy or cookie that you want, and you gave it your best shot at taking steps. And what happened? You fell down. But what did you do next? You rose up and you tried to take a step and you fell down. When you were learning to walk, never once you fall down and think to yourself, well, that's it. I guess I'm just not meant to be a walker. No, you rose up and you kept going. And with each try, you took a few more steps and a few more steps until finally you became a walker. But something happens when we become adults. We stop giving ourselves permission to fall down. If we fall down in business, we say, I guess I'm not meant to be a business owner. If we fall down in love, I say, I guess, love isn't in the cards for me. If we fall down, when it's actually falling down and rising back up again, that are actually the key to achieving great visions and dreams. And we must befriend our fear and give ourselves the permission to fail enough to succeed. And great leaders of our time are actually willing to fail and then try again. And Oprah was actually fired by television executives and told that she was not fit for TV, but she rose up and kept going. And Steven Spielberg was rejected from the USC Film School 3 times, but he rose up and kept going. J.K. Rowling was unemployed, divorced, raising a daughter, and her first novel, Harry Potter, was actually rejected by 12 publishing houses. But she rose up and kept going. Thank goodness for that, because now we have Harry Potter. And Bruce Springsteen was fired from his first band and told by his manager that he couldn't sing, but he rose up and kept going. And fear and failure are actually prerequisites for achieving great dreams. So when the voice of doubt questions you and asks, what if you fail? Let your response be, bring it on. I might fail, but if I do, I will rise up and keep going and I will succeed. So how do we give power to the part of us that wants to move forward when we are hearing the voice that wants us to play small? There's a whole process to this that I take my clients through in the Life Mastery program. But for the purpose of today, I actually want to give you one thing that you can do again and again as you have, right, you look at your vision on every day in order to move forward. Because you want to remember, where your attention goes, energy flows. So when you notice your thoughts going towards a limitation, you actually have the ability within you to interrupt that thought, and you want to refocus your mind on your vision, which you have written down. Because in absence of a vision, you can't, you're always thinking. You cannot choose whether or not you're thinking, but you can actually choose what you're thinking about. So if we don't actually have a vision, then we can tell our minds to stop thinking all those limiting thoughts, but it actually will automatically go back to its normal habitual pattern. And so now that you have a vision, you actually can reread the vision, refocus your mind, will choose to be able to focus on that. And then once you focus your mind, your vision, and really step into it and allow yourself to imagine that being true, you want to actually take an action step. And the action step is actually really key here, because the action step is actually what tells your subconscious mind that you are serious about your new results. And over time, the old paradigm will actually begin to dissolve away. So you want to ask the question, what's one action step that I could take that will move me in the direction of my dream, in my vision that I've written down, and then you want to take that action. So you want to take a look at what you've written down as your vision in your vocation or maybe in another area. What is one action step that you could take that would move you in the direction of that vision? And don't let yourself off the hook here. There's absolutely some action that you could take that will move you forward on what you would love to create. And so you want to actually write down that action step for you. And then I actually want you to actually put a date by when you're going to take that action. And progress is more important than perfection. So taking even the smallest step towards your vision will make a difference. The key is to really do what you can with what you have from where you are. And you want to actually consistently do this practice, like at least commit to doing it on a daily basis as you look at your vision. Because what happens, and it doesn't need to be big, massive action steps. It actually just needs to be some action every single day. Because what will happen is that you're building momentum, and that it's actually going to get easier over time. And the choices and actions that we take today are ultimately who we become tomorrow. So we're coming to an end here, but I just want to ask you, do you feel like you really connected with these ideas, and you know that if you really implemented these, they would make a difference in your life? I actually want to launch a poll here. I just want to see here if you found this information helpful. Okay, awesome. So about 30% yes, 30, a couple folks of somewhat. At least I hope you gained some value. More than half here, Jordy is saying. Okay. About 70%, 80% voted. Majority is like over 97%. Yes. So I'm so grateful, and I'm really glad to hear that you gained some value from that. And as promised at the beginning, I have a gift for you, and then I'm going to close with a story and a powerful thought for you. So let's first recap what we've covered. You learn through a numbers, you learn that there's actually, an invisible pattern of success, right? And when you expand your awareness of that pattern, your results naturally increase. And you learn mastery principle number 1, which is designing a vision, that you must have a clear blueprint of what you want in order to achieve it. And the clearer the blueprint, the more power you have. And you learn principle number 2, which is that you must decide for the thing you want in absence of knowing how. And you learn principle number 3, which is how fear and failure, that's important to befriend your fear, and that fear and failure are prerequisites for greatness. And you must befriend your fear and shift our paradigms if we want to actually achieve our vision. And I actually want to close with a powerful thought, but first let me give you the gift. As I promised at the beginning of this presentation, and maybe Sarah, you can enter in the web address if you have your browser open. At the beginning of this presentation, I promised I have a special gift for those who are ready to take action on your vision. Between my speaking and coaching schedule, I carve out some time each week for strategy sessions. A strategy session is a 30-minute phone conversation where I can support you in getting clear on exactly where you are, what you would love to create and the next most important step that you can take that will move you in the direction of your dream. Now, this one-on-one session is valued at $250, and some of you on this call know that you are really ready to create that success and impact and the level, but the vision that you've created, and that you're really ready to invest in achieving your dream and expand your awareness of how to actually create that. So here's your next step, some one-on-one time with me over the phone where we can invest in you, your vision, and discover a path for how you can get there. I'm offering you this strategy session completely complimentary. It's my gift to you. So if you're serious about expanding your awareness in order to create that level of success and your vision for your business and your life, then the next step for you is actually a strategy session with me. And so if you, Sarah, just typed in the web address. So if you copy that address into your browser, it will take you to a scheduling page. And so you just go ahead and go through, click next, and put in your time zone, click next, and find the time that will work for you. The call typically is 30 minutes, but we block an hour because it's really a time to serve you. And so if the call takes longer, that time is available for you. And you just go ahead and find the time that works for you. Type in your name, your email, and your phone number, and then book a time, and then we can find a time to talk to each other. And I know that this session is recorded, and so that address is mystrategy.as.me. So it's my strategy as me with a period between each one. And so if you're watching this after with the recording, then you can go ahead and try that address. I do have that calendar is updated with my availability. And so if you're watching this, you can use that web address and find the time, and the time is available, then go ahead and schedule it. If not, you can actually contact me through my email, and I'll make sure that you get added to the wait list for the next time that is available. And go ahead and schedule that now, because I actually don't have a lot available for this week. And so if that gets booked out, then you can email me and I'll make sure to add you to the wait list of available times as well. So again, go to mystrategy.as.me and make sure you do that, because these sessions do fill up, and they do fill up fast. And so I just actually want to leave you with this powerful thought, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So William H. Murray was actually one of the first person to ever summit Mount Everest, and he was one of the top mountain climbers of all times. And he actually, in his journey before he ever summited Everest, he was actually trying to source out, how he was going to do it. He had this vision of wanting to do it, but he didn't necessarily know how he's going to be able to come up with the funding in order to fund the expedition, because it's actually a costly trip. But, when he took the steps that he could at the time in order to just put down, the deposit at first, and then slowly taking the steps that he could, he was actually able to fund his entire expedition. And so he actually wrote, in his book, a book called Evidence of Things Not Seen, he said that really, in order to really move forward on his vision, even though he didn't know all the steps, it took all the courage that he had, it took every stretch that he could muster, but he really have found that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Absence of evidence is actually simply absence of awareness. And you may have a Mount level Everest vision for your business, and perhaps, there's no clear path at this point, but that doesn't mean that path doesn't exist for you. It just means that you're not aware enough yet to be able to see the things you can do to generate the results that you want. In Murray's book, there's really a famous quote by him where he describes what happened for him in this journey. He said, "Until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiatives and creation, there's one elemental truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. Namely, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no one could have dreamt would have come their way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. So whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." You have a splendid vision of the success that you want to create, and you've written it down. You can feel it. You've made a decision for it, And in order to achieve your vision, you must decipher over and over again, deciding for over opposing circumstances when it's inconvenient, when it's uncomfortable, and you don't feel like it. Because there's one elemental truth. You must commit to your vision and befriend your fear, because when you do, a whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manners of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which you could not have dreamt would have come your way. So for those who are really willing to commit to your vision, for those who would love support in achieving your vision, if you would love a coach to help you summit your Everest, go ahead and go to that website, mystrategy.as.me, and I'll, and schedule a time and let's talk. And remember, as we wrap up this call today, we're coming to the end here, know that what's inside of you is really far greater than any challenge you're currently facing. You really have incredible power within you, and this is your moment in your day to take bold action, because as Goethe says, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. We're wrapping to end, and it's really been a privilege and an honor to have shared and spent this time with you and share this information with you. I'm really glad that you made the time to be here. Thank you very much. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer that.
Hey, thank you so much, Nung. We do have a few questions,
Okay.
and just to remind everyone, you can type the questions in the chat box or the question box at the bottom of the webinar screen. The first question, how often do you recommend doing the blueprint exercise?
So what I have found, and what I found with my clients, is that the vision itself actually is a living document, and it takes on a life of its own. So once you write the vision for all 4 domains, you actually want to read it on a regular basis, because if we think about it, we actually have natural thought patterns that have been there through decades, right? And so every day that we're reading our vision, we're actually priming our minds to actually think about and refocus our thinking onto something new that we want to create. And so we actually want to read our vision. I recommend to clients reading it at least twice a day in the morning, to really set that tone and that energy and that mindset for the day. And then in the evenings as well, before we go to sleep. And then as you're reading it over time, you'll notice that the vision actually takes on a life of its own, and you'll start feeling into it and recognizing, okay, so maybe I want to add something here, or maybe I want to, would like to do this with my free time. And so you just add to it over time. And so I would say, you're reading it regularly and then probably editing it weekly or monthly. You'll find that it naturally guides you, and you'll find that you want to add things to it. That helps.
Great. Next question. Do you have tactics to shut down distractions? I do set my vision, but then life happens.
Mm-hmm. So one of the ways that our paradigms, like these are the energy of our status quo, one of the ways that it works is actually through distraction. You sit down, you have a goal, you have a vision, you're like, okay, I'm gonna make these phone calls. All of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe I should do the laundry, or you're like, oh, maybe I have to make the other phone call to my friends first, or maybe I have to check my email first, or I have to go check Facebook. And there's a lot of distractions that come up. These are actually just it's actually just the energy of our paradigm trying to dissuade us from doing what the goal that we're setting out to do. And the best way to do that is to actually take consistent action. So you want to commit to taking daily actions, and over time it actually tells the action is absolutely critical, because the action tells your subconscious mind that you're serious, and over time the paradigm will actually dissolve away, and you'll start getting into this momentum and flow, and it'll actually get easier to do that, and that all that distraction will go away because you're shifting your thinking in order to move forward on that. So it's a matter of taking small actions consistently and then committing to it.
Great. And the asker says she loves that answer.
Oh, thank you.
Next question, any tactics to fend off fear?
I think it's very similar, because the way the paradigm works, right? There's actually, it'll dissuade you, it'll distract you, it'll try to delay you. And then if all that doesn't work, it will actually, there's what I call DEFCON, which is where you have this fear that shoots up in your body, and you're paralyzed. You're so scared. That actually is a good thing. I know it doesn't feel like it, and it feels very scary, but it actually means that you're actually, the only time that you actually feel that level of fear is that you are so close to that border of the reality that you know that it's triggering all that fear to come up, and you know that the next action that you take will be stretching that boundary and that border, right? And that it's literally beyond your comfort zone. That's why you're feeling that fear. And so again, it's going back to the action, is taking very small baby steps, small actions. And baby step will get you all the way to the top of Mount Everest if you commit to it. And so it's every single day just holding yourself accountable. You're going to read your vision twice a day, and you're going to take one action step. And you can take 5, you can take 10 if you want, but holding yourself accountable to at least one every single day. And it's actually building that momentum, and you're stretching that comfort zone, and that fear will absolutely dissolve away over time. But the only time, though, keep in mind that that particular fear will dissolve away. It doesn't mean fear will go away, because as long as you're growing, you're always going to be stretching your comfort zone. So fear will always be there. But it's just you learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Next question is, do you suggest sharing your visions with others or keeping them more personal?
So if you think about your vision, like the vision that you've written down, it's a new vision, right? It's like a baby vision. And just like you, with a newborn, you wouldn't trust anyone with it because you're new. It's also new for you, that you wouldn't necessarily, I would recommend not sharing it with people, only sharing it with people who you know without a doubt will absolutely be by your side and support you in it, because it's also very new and fragile for you. And the worst thing that can happen is you share it with someone and just a little twinge of doubt, or just a little bit, oh, how are you going to do that, or how is that going to be possible, will absolutely dissuade you, because that's already within you. You already have, some of that doubt yourself, and so you don't really need external doubts to be adding to that. Over time, as you start, as it starts coming to fruition, and you start seeing that, believing in yourself more, then of course, it'd be easier to share with people. But definitely in the beginning, you want to just protect that a little bit, and only share that with people who will absolutely support you.
Okay, looks like that's all we have for questions. Thank you, everybody, and remember that the webinar will be recorded and available in a few days on the MAR website. I'll also send all the viewers a message with the link, but it is in the chat box as well. And thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.